How's everybody doing this evening? I'm just gonna make this little video while I'm shutting down the store. I'm not gonna lie, I've had a rough couple of days. Just had a lot on my mind. Yesterday I wasn't feeling too well. But tomorrow me and my wife are doing something that I thought was kind of wild when you think about it. When we first went, sorry, I'm not looking at you. I forgot I have a snake to feed. But anyway, when we first switched over from, breeding snakes and rats and all that just for personal as a hobby, when we switched over to business, one of the first, if not the very first giveaway we have ever done, the guy won $25 worth of feeders. And this is back when we lived in Struthers, Ohio. That was pretty much the first place it's actually the second place because we started in Girard when we were breeding rodents. But the very first giveaway we did, the guy won $25 worth of feeders. All right, sorry about that. I had a phone call I had to take. But anyway, what I wanted to say, what I believe is the first giveaway we've ever done, this guy won $25 worth of feeders. I've never met the guy, but when he won, we probably did a video on Facebook or something where we pulled his name, and either I reached out to him or he reached out to me. However, at the time, the guy did not have any reptiles. All he had was tarantulas. So he ended up coming over and picking up some bugs for his tarantulas. And ironically as it is, that $25 feeder credit probably stretched a good 4 to 6 months because I was letting him only get a few bugs at a time. But me and him ended up becoming really good friends. Ironically, he only lived like 3 blocks from me when I lived in Struthers. And he had a couple daughters and they were friends with my son. And yeah, it's just funny because we ended up being really good friends for a couple of years. And then when we moved out of Struthers and moved to Vienna, I didn't see him so much anymore because he worked full time and he was creating his own business. And then of course we were working on growing our business. To this day, he actually doesn't even have tarantulas anymore, but he did have snakes for a couple years. And tomorrow I'm actually going to his wedding up in Canton, which is, I guess, the funny part and the whole purpose of this video. Some people end up becoming friends and end up staying friends long after they even are a customer anymore. Sometimes I meet somebody and we're good friends, and then they sell their reptiles and I never hear from them again. That actually happened somewhat recently. I was good friends with the guy, talked to him all the time. He sold his last 2 snakes. I didn't hear from him for a couple of months. I actually tried calling him a couple of times just to chat, and he didn't answer, never called back, never texted back. A couple more months goes by and then he shows up in the store. He ended up getting his snakes back. Besides that, there's another really good friend of mine that I met in the very beginning. On the day of the last reptile show, he ended up having a stroke at 2 o'clock in the morning. He's only 28 years old, and it really sucks. You're too young. To this day, and like I said, that was almost 2 months ago, he's still in the ICU. He actually got out of the ICU a couple times and went back in. He's had pneumonia and pancreatitis. I found out he just had COVID. And it just really sucks because I went and saw him in the hospital just a few days after he had the stroke, and I thought he looked amazing for someone who just had a stroke. I mean, his face wasn't droopy. He was feeding himself, very slowly, of course. It's only been a couple days. But I'm telling him, like, man, you're going to be up on your feet in no time. Don't let this, don't worry about this. You'll be all right. And then I leave, and it seems like any update I get, it's getting worse and worse, or things change. And, as of yesterday, I did find out he was doing a little better, and he's in much better spirits. And, he's slowly getting better, but he's still going to be in the hospital for a couple of months. And another really bad thing I found out yesterday, another customer, again, from the very beginning, this lady used to drive from Sharon all the way to Struthers to pick up her bugs. And then when we moved to Vienna, she came to Vienna. Now we're in Brookfield. She comes to Brookfield. She's still a customer from day one. Her daughter, 22 years old, had a heart attack yesterday morning. And, I first found out about it. I didn't know what happened, and I sent her a message, and I could see the posts on Facebook because we're friends on Facebook. And, it turns out she was pregnant and didn't know. And she had, I can't remember what it's called. I think it's an ectopic pregnancy or something. My wife actually had the same thing when me and her first got together. In my wife's case, I think it's the same thing. But, the babies get stuck in the tubes and they got to remove the tubes. But if they don't know about it, I guess that can cause a lot of complications. And the girl just thought she was feeling under the weather for a few days or a few weeks. And then yesterday morning, she ended up having a heart attack and going to the hospital. And they had to perform a very tough surgery. And there was, I guess, zero brain activity. As of this morning, I did see that there is some brain activity, and her whole family, community, friends, everybody's praying for her. She's a great girl. I mean, she just got married probably less than a year ago. Like I said, 22 years old. And it just sucks because, people are young, too young for that. I just turned 37 a couple days ago, and I mean, I haven't even made the video that I want to make yet, about my past and about some of the things I've experienced as a teenager and young adult. Many of you know my story just from talking in the store. I'm very open about my past, but I've never made a full detailed video like I really want to do. But, life is short, and, a lot's been on my mind besides my friends that are in the hospital and sick. I got friends that are getting married, and these are people I've met all through the business. I mean, this is the second wedding I'm going to of a customer. But there's more. I mean, there's birthday parties, and our kids have play dates, and I've met so many cool people through here. And I just appreciate every one of you, But, I'm not trying to turn this into something it's not. But if you're a praying person, please pray for I'll just say Sandy's daughter. Keep it simple. She's fighting for her life right now. And my buddy who had a stroke a couple of months ago, he is doing a little better, but he needs strength. I mean, he's been laying in a hospital bed for 2 months, and it's tough, But it's just so crazy, the ups and the downs and the people I've met through here. 90+% of you guys have become really good friends and like family. I mean, we just had Maddie's birthday party on Tuesday, and it was probably 80% 80% customers, 20% family. I mean, a lot of you have become our family, and I'm grateful for that. And to my wife too. Some of you and her have become so close, and I mean, we've had employees that aren't employees anymore, but are still good friends. Matter of fact, one's coming out tomorrow to help us because we're going to the wedding and we don't want to leave Matt stranded alone. But there's a lot of great people in this world. Don't dwell on the small stuff, Forgive and move on. Be the bigger person. But again, I'm not trying to turn this into something it's not. I just want to say I'm grateful to every one of you. Life is short, and I've met a lot of awesome people through here, and I just wanted to get that off my chest. Other than that, have a beautiful night, have a beautiful weekend, and I will see every one of you soon. Goodbye.